The fluorescent lights buzzed like angry hornets overhead, casting harsh shadows on the sticky linoleum floor of the bar's bathroom. I slammed the stall door shut behind me, heart pounding from the whirlwind of faces and forced small talk at the speed dating event, when suddenly the main door creaked open and heavy footsteps echoed toward me. "Paul," a voice said, low and urgent, like it had been waiting its whole life for this moment. "I'm Jack, and I can't pretend anymore. That spark between us? It's real. But I've got to tell you something that'll change everything before we even start." I froze, zipper halfway down, staring at the chipped paint on the stall wall as if it held the answers to why this stranger, tall, broad-shouldered, with eyes like storm clouds over the Hudson, had tracked me in here like a man on a mission. His revelation hung in the air like smoke from a just-extinguished fire. He wasn't just some accountant from Brooklyn. He was an undercover cop, deep in a case that had already cost him his marriage, his friends, and now, potentially, any shot at something honest with a guy like me. The bar outside throbbed with laughter and clinking glasses, the kind of Friday night chaos that made New York feel alive and unforgiving all at once. I'd come to this speed dating thing on a whim, dragged by my roommate Lila after another string of ghosted Grindr dates left me questioning if love was just a myth peddled by rom-coms. "Get out there, Paul," she'd said, shoving a vodka soda into my hand. "You're 28, hot as hell, and wasting away on takeout and true crime podcasts." So here I was, in a dimly lit spot in Chelsea called the Velvet Rope, surrounded by a circle of folding chairs and name tags, each 5-minute rotation feeling like a blind audition for heartbreak. Jack was number 7. Or 8. The numbers blurred after the third guy who droned on about his crypto investments. But when he sat down across from me, crisp button-down rolled to his elbows, a faint scar tracing his jawline like a secret map, I felt the room tilt. His smile was easy, disarming, the kind that made you forget the timer ticking down. "So, Paul," he said, leaning in just enough to catch the faint cedar scent of his cologne, "if you could teleport anywhere right now, where's it gonna be?" No bullshit answers. I laughed, surprised by the directness. "Easy, some dive bar in Key West, toes in the sand, forgetting the world exists." He nodded, eyes locking on mine with an intensity that sent a shiver down my spine. "Key West. Huh? I've got stories from there that'd curl your hair. But honestly, I'd pick right here, if the company's right." The bell rang too soon, and as he stood, he slipped a napkin into my hand, his number scrawled in sharp, no-nonsense print. "Text me. We ain't done." That napkin burned a hole in my pocket through the next 4 rotations, but I played it cool, stealing glances at him across the room. He was magnetic, the way he commanded space without trying, laughing with easy charm at the guy in the Hawaiian shirt, but always circling back to catch my eye. By the time the event wrapped, the bar had filled with spillover from the speed daters, bodies pressing close in the humid August air. I lingered by the faux leather booths, nursing a beer, half hoping he'd make a move, half terrified he wouldn't. Then the bathroom pull. His confession spilled out in a rush, words tumbling over each other as he paced the narrow space between sinks and stalls. "Look, I know this is insane, chasing you in here like some stalker from a bad movie, but that connection is not just flirtation. I've been living half a life for 2 years now, undercover in this shitshow of a drug ring-up in Harlem. Fake name, fake job, fake everything. My ex couldn't take it, left me 6 months in. And tonight, seeing you. Fuck, Paul, it's the first real thing I've felt in forever." I leaned against the cool tile wall, processing. Undercover cop? It sounded like the plot of one of those gritty HBO series, not real life. But there was no lie in his eyes, just raw vulnerability that mirrored the ache I'd been carrying since my own coming-out fallout with my conservative family back in Ohio. "So what now?" I asked, voice steadier than I felt. "You dropped this bomb and—" "What? Expect me to sign up for the drama?" He stopped pacing, close enough that I could see the faint stubble shadowing his chin. "No expectations. Just honesty. If it's too much, walk away. But if you want to see where this goes cautiously, no promises, meet me tomorrow. Coffee, daylight, no shadows." His hand brushed mine, a spark that lingered long after he pulled away. And just like that, he was gone, leaving me staring at my reflection in the smudged mirror, wondering if I was ready to dive into someone else's storm. The next morning, sunlight sliced through my blinds like a promise, and I found myself at a corner cafe in the village, the kind with mismatched mugs and baristas who remembered your order. Jack was already there, nursing a black coffee, looking less like a cop and more like a regular guy in faded jeans and a Mets tee. "You came," he said, relief softening his features as I slid into the seat across from him. "Curiosity killed the cat," I quipped, but my smile gave me away. We talked for hours easy, unhurried about everything and nothing. His real life, growing up in a rough patch of Queens, joining the force to make a difference, only to find the job eating him alive. My world. The graphic design gig that paid the bills but starved the soul. The move to New York 5 years ago, chasing dreams and running from small-town judgment. There was a rhythm to us, a sync that felt dangerously natural, like we'd been skipping the awkward phases everyone else endured. By afternoon, we were wandering Washington Square Park, the arch looming like a gateway to possibility. Street performers juggled fire, metaphorically apt, and kids chased pigeons while tourists snapped selfies. Jack's hand found mine as we sat on a bench, tentative at first, then firm, his thumb tracing circles on my knuckles. "This okay?" he murmured, and I nodded, heart swelling with the simple thrill of it. We kissed there, soft and exploratory, the world fading to a hum. It was the kind of moment that tricks you into believing in fate, in second chances. That night, dinner at his place, a cramped walk-up in Bushwick with exposed brick and vinyl records stacked like towers. He cooked pasta carbonara, surprisingly deft with a whisk, and we ate cross-legged on the floor, wine loosening tongues and inhibitions. Stories flowed, his first crush on a high school baseball coach, the terror of telling his partner back then. Mine. The night my dad found my hidden stash of queer lit and pretended it never happened, the silence louder than any shout. Laughter mixed with the ache, turning pain into something shared, survivable. We made love on his thrift store couch, bodies moving with a hunger born of too many lonely nights. It was tender, urgent. His hands mapping my skin like he was memorizing every inch, my fingers tangling in his hair as whispers turned to gasps. Afterward, tangled in sheets that smelled of him, he pulled me close. "Your trouble, Paul," he said, voice husky. "The good kind," I chuckled, but inside, a quiet fear stirred. How long could this bubble hold before his world crashed in? Weeks blurred into a rhythm that felt like home. Mornings at my place, where Lila teased us mercilessly over brunch. "You two are disgustingly cute. It's criminal." Afternoons sketching logos while he pored over case files, carefully redacted. "Of course." Evenings at indie films in Brooklyn, his arm around me in the dark, or quiet walks along the East River, skyline lights reflecting off the water like scattered diamonds. Jack made me feel seen, not just desired, peeling back layers I'd kept buried, coaxing out dreams I'd shelved. But cracks showed early. Late-night calls he'd take in the kitchen, voice dropping to a murmur, hanging up with apologies and vague excuses. Work stuff, he'd say, but his eyes would cloud, the easy smile fracturing. I'd push gently, talk to me, and he'd deflect with a kiss, pulling me back into the warmth of us. I let it slide, chalking it up to the job's toll, but doubt whispered in the quiet hours. One rainy Thursday, it escalated. I was at his apartment, rain lashing the windows like accusations, when his phone buzzed incessantly. He glanced at it, face paling, and stepped out onto the fire escape. I followed, shirt damp from the spray, catching fragments. Can't blow cover. Too deep. Love him, but my stomach dropped. Love him? Who? The call ended, and he turned, seeing me there, soaked and stricken. Paul, it's not. He started, but I cut him off, voice raw. Who the hell is him? And don't lie to me. Not after everything. Rain mingled with tears on my cheeks as he confessed. An old flame from the force, a partner in the op who'd gone rogue, now leveraging their shared history to pull Jack back in. It's leverage, nothing more, he insisted, reaching for me. But the words landed like blows, betrayal's first sting, sharp and disorienting. We fought that night, words flying like shrapnel. You said honesty, I yelled, pacing the living room as thunder rumbled outside. This isn't honesty. It's a minefield, he fired back, frustration etching lines on his face. You think I want this? My life's not a fairy tale, it's survival. But you're the part worth fighting for. I stormed out into the downpour, hailing a cab back to my place, chest heaving with sobs that blurred the city lights. Days passed in radio silence, a chasm widening with each unanswered text. Lila found me curled on the couch, ice cream melting in bowls. Babe, you deserve the whole story, not scraps, she said, brewing tea strong as her advice. I knew she was right, but pride and hurt warred inside me. On the fourth day, a knock, Jack, drenched again, this time from choice, holding a soggy bouquet of sunflowers, my favorite. I'm done hiding, he said, voice breaking as I let him in. The ops wrapping transfer papers filed. No more secrets. But if you can't trust this, I get it. Just tell me to go. We talked till dawn, unraveling the knots, his fear of losing me mirroring my own terror of abandonment. Forgiveness wasn't easy. It came in fits, laced with what-ifs. But in his arms, as rain softened to a drizzle, I chose us flawed, fierce, real. Summer faded into fall, leaves carpeting the parks in crimson and gold. Our love deepened, roots digging in against the inevitable. Jack's transfer came through, a desk job in Queens, safer, steadier. We talked future, a shared lease, trips to Key West, maybe even meeting families on neutral ground. But shadows lingered. His past wasn't done with him. It hit on a crisp October evening. We'd planned a quiet dinner at home. My place, candles flickering, jazz on the turntable. The doorbell rang mid-sauce simmer, and there stood a ghost. Mark, Jack's rogue ex-partner, all sharp suit and sharper eyes. Heard you were playing house? Mark sneered, brushing past me into the apartment. Jack froze in the kitchen doorway, ladle dripping marinara like blood. "You son of a bitch," Jack growled. But Mark just laughed, low and venomous. "Missed you too. But playtime's over. The ring's got a mole. And guess who they think it is? Your boy's clean, Jack. Too clean. Time to come back where you belong." The betrayal unfolded in fragments. Mark had planted doubts, leaked intel to frame Jack, all to reclaim what he'd lost. Not love, but control. I'd been collateral, my normalcy a threat to their twisted bond. "You used me," I whispered to Jack later, after Mark slunk away with threats hanging like storm clouds. Knew he was circling and said nothing. Jack's face crumpled. "I thought I could protect you, keep it contained. God, Paul, I'm so sorry." The fight was cataclysmic, words carving deeper than any knife. I packed a bag, needing air, space to breathe through the rage and grief. Wandering the streets that night, Manhattan's pulse mocking my shattered heart, I ended up at the Velvet Rope, the bar where it began. Empty now, save for a lone bartender polishing glasses. I nursed a whiskey, replaying it all. The spark, the secrets, the love that bloomed fierce and fast. Was it real, or just a beautiful lie? Dawn broke gray and unforgiving. My phone buzzed. "Jack, meet me at the park. Please, Washington Square, our bench." He was there, hollow-eyed, a man unraveling. "I turned him in," he said flatly. "Internal affairs has it all. It's over. For him. For the op. But us. If you'll have me, I'll spend every day earning back your trust. No more half-truths." I sat beside him, silence stretching like a tightrope. The arch loomed, pigeons cooing softly. "It hurts," I admitted finally, voice thick. "But I see you, Jack, the man who chased me into a bathroom, who cooked me pasta, who held me when nightmares came. That's worth fighting for too." He took my hand, tentative, and I let him. Not a fairy tale ending, but human, messy, mended, ours. Winter wrapped New York in frost, but we thawed together. Therapy sessions for him, art classes for me, rebuilding bricks by brick. Lila called us the unbreakable duo, and damn if she wasn't right. On New Year's Eve, under fireworks exploding over the harbor, Jack dropped to one knee. Not a ring, but a key. "To our place," he said. "All in." I said yes, tears freezing on my lashes, knowing love wasn't absence of storm but dancing in the rain. We'd been hooked from that bathroom stall, revelation and all. Two souls colliding in the city's chaos, emerging scarred but whole. In America, where dreams die and rebirths happen daily, we chose each other. Every damn time. The key burned in my palm like a talisman as we stepped into our new apartment, a third-floor walk-up in the East Village, with creaky hardwood and windows overlooking a fire escape tangled in ivy. It wasn't much. Peeling wallpaper in the bedroom, a kitchenette barely big enough for two, but it smelled of fresh possibility, of us. Jack hauled the last box inside, sweat beading on his forehead despite the January chill seeping through the cracks. "Home," he declared, dropping it with a thud and pulling me into a kiss that tasted of salt and hope. We christened the place that night, laughter echoing off bare walls as we assembled IKEA furniture with more enthusiasm than skill. Screws went missing, instructions crumpled, but it felt right, building something solid from the ground up. By midnight, we collapsed on the mattress we'd dragged in, tangled under a quilt Lila had gifted us, for the lovebird's nest, she'd winked. His head on my chest, Heartbeat syncing with mine, I traced the scar on his jaw. "Tell me a story," I murmured, the way I did when insomnia clawed at him. He chuckled, voice rumbling against my skin. "All right. Once upon a time, there was this idiot cop who thought he could outrun his demons. It was our ritual now, turning shadows into tales, reclaiming narrative from the pain. Sleep came easy, dreams laced with sunlight instead of sirens. Morning brought the grind. Jack's first day at the precinct desk, buried in paperwork but free of the street's pull. I waved him off from the stoop, coffee mug steaming in the frosty air, then dove into my freelance gig mock-ups for a queer-owned bookstore's rebrand, colors popping like fireworks. By noon, Lila burst in unannounced, arms laden with takeout tie and gossip. "Spill, how's domestic bliss treating you lovebirds?" We ate on the floor amid half-unpacked boxes, her cross-legged like old times. "It's good," I said, hesitating. "Real. But sometimes I wake up wondering if it's all gonna vanish." She squeezed my knee. I sharp. "That's trauma talking, babe. Jack's in it, fights for it. Give it grace." Her words stuck, a reminder that healing wasn't linear, but we were moving. That grace was tested weeks later, when spring teased the city with crocuses pushing through concrete. Jack's promotion came through sergeant, leading a cold cases unit. Celebration dinner at our favorite Italian spot in Little Italy, candlelight dancing on Chianti glasses. "To new chapters," he toasted, foot nudging mine under the table. But midway through tiramisu, his phone lit up unknown number. He silenced it, but the shadow returned, flickering in his eyes. "Who was that?" I asked later, back home, as we brushed teeth side by side in the tiny bathroom. He spat, rinsed, avoided the mirror. "Wrong number. Old habit. Lie number 1 in months. Small but seismic." I let it slide, curling into him in bed, but sleep evaded me, mind spinning worst-case scenarios. The calls escalated, late nights, whispered conversations in the hall. I pretend to sleep, heart hammering as fragments filtered through. Can't drag him into this. Promised I'd stay clean. Clean? From what? Mark's arrest had closed that chapter, or so he'd sworn. Doubt festered, a slow poison eroding trust we'd so carefully rebuilt. Confrontation brewed over a mundane Saturday. Me sketching at the kitchen table, him pacing with his phone like a live wire. It rang again. He answered, turning away. "Yeah, I got it." "No, not now." Click. I slammed my pencil down. "Enough, Jack. Who's on the other end? And don't gaslight me with nothing." He deflated, sinking onto a stool, head in hands. "It's my sister, Sarah. She's in trouble, bad debt from some gambling spiral back in Queens. Thinks I can pull strings, make it disappear." Relief warred with irritation. "Why hide that? We're partners. Remember." His eyes met mine, weary. "Because every time family calls, it feels like the old me creeping back, the fixer, the fall guy. Didn't want to burden you. We hashed it out. Voices rising then softening, ending in apologies and make-up sex on the living room rug, fierce, reaffirming. "No more solo acts," I panted against his neck. "Promise." He nodded, fierce. "Promise." Patched the crack, but fragility lingered, a reminder that love's foundation was as much choice as chance. Summer roared in, humid and electric, mirroring the charge between us. We escaped to Fire Island for a weekend. Lila's hookup with a ferry captain scoring us a free ride. Beaches stretched white and endless, waves crashing like applause. Jack in board shorts, building sandcastles with exaggerated seriousness, made me laugh till my sides ached. Nights at the pavilion, dancing under string lights, bodies pressed in the throng. Queer joy unfiltered, a balm for old wounds. One evening, bonfire crackling on the shore, stars wheeling overhead. He turned to me, firelight gilding his face. Paul, I never say it enough, but I love you. Not despite the mess, because of it. You make me want to be better. Tears pricked my eyes. I pulled him close, salt air mingling with smoke. Love you too. Always. We made love there on a blanket, ocean serenading, feeling infinite. But infinity's a lie, cities like New York love to whisper. Back in the grind, Jack's cold cases unearth ghosts, not his, but mine. A file crossed his desk. Unsolved assault from my Ohio days. The night after prom when jocks cornered me in an alley. Fists flying for daring to kiss a boy. This you? He asked softly one evening. File open on the counter. I nodded, throat tight. Yeah. Never reported. Dad would have disowned me twice over. He closed it gently, pulling me onto his lap. Brave as hell. Surviving that. We cried together. Rage and release. Then he vowed, we'll find them. Justice. On my watch. It was cathartic, empowering, his world folding around my pain, turning victimhood to victory. Charges filed remotely, statements given over video, closure, bittersweet but real. Fall painted the city gold again. Anniversaries marking time, 1 year since the bathroom bombshell. We celebrated at the Velvet Rope, full circle booth in the corner, hands linked across the table. To unexpected truths, Jack toasted. Laughter bubbled as we recounted that night, his chase now legend in our lore. Yet, as leaves fell, so did hints of storm. Jack's energy shifted, late hours at the precinct, excuses piling like drifts. Paperwork backlog, he'd say, collapsing into bed reeking of coffee and stress. I mirrored it, burying in deadlines, but worry gnawed. Lila noticed at our weekly brunches. He's pulling away, or you are? Fair question. Fear made fortresses of us both. The breaking point came mid-November, rain sluicing down like Judgment Day. I got home early, soaked from a canceled client meet, to find Jack on the couch, not alone. No. Worse. Laptop open, video call active, face of a man I recognized from photos, his ex. Not Mark, but the first one, the wife leaver from his undercover days. Jackie, she cooed, voice tinny through speakers. We need to talk about custody. Timmy misses his dad. Custody? Timmy? The room spun. Jack startled, slamming the laptop shut, but damage done. Paul, wait. He lunged as I backed toward the door. Bag forgotten. A kid? An ex-wife? You said it was over. Clean break. Words failed him. Face ashen. It is divorce finalized years ago. But co-parenting. It's messy. I didn't want to scare you off early. Betrayal's blade twisted deep. Scare me? Or spare yourself the vulnerability? God. Jack. I'm tired of being the last to know. I fled into the storm. Streets blurring. Ending up at Lila's, sobbing on her shoulder till dawn. He has a son, I choked. And lied. Again. She held me, fierce. Then confront the lie. But decide if the man's worth the wreckage. Worth it? The question haunted cab rides home days later. Resolve hardening. He was waiting. Apartment stripped of his touch, boxes by the door. I fucked up, he said, voice wrecked. Pushed you away to protect what we had, but lost it anyway. Timmy's 6. Tistic, custody battles are hell. Thought if I kept it locked, it wouldn't touch us. Tears tracked his cheeks. But you're my family now. If you'll let me fix this. Fix? It took weeks, counseling, raw talks over cold pizza, meeting Timmy at a neutral park. The boy shy, bright-eyed, stacking blocks with focus that melted my defenses. Jack watched, anxious, as I knelt to his level. Hi, Timmy. I'm Paul, your dad's friend. Wanna build a tower? A nod, small hand in mine. In that moment, family redefined, not blood, but bonds forged in fire. Holiday lights twinkled as we navigated. Blended Thanksgivings, Timmy's first sleepover. Jealousy flared. Nights Jack spent at his ex's for routines, but trust rebuilt, brick by patient brick. You're incredible with him, Jack whispered one Christmas Eve. Timmy asleep between us, fort of blankets around. Makes me love you more. Love endured, humanistic in its grit. Not perfection, but persistence. Winter's grip loosened into a tentative spring. Cherry blossoms dusting the sidewalks like confetti from a half-remembered party. Our apartment bloomed 2 houseplants on sills, Timmy's drawings taped to the fridge, a chaotic collage of superheroes and scribbled hearts. Jack's co-parenting schedule was a Tetris puzzle. Blocks of time shuffled between us. His ex, Claire, sharp-tongued but fair, and the boy who bridged them all. I dove in headfirst, surprising myself, reading bedtime stories about dragons who learned to fly solo, baking lopsided cookies that stuck to the pan. You're a natural, Jack said one afternoon, watching from the kitchen as Timmy and I finger-painted at the table, colors streaking like emotions unchecked. Blue for calm, red for the rages that sometimes gripped the kid when words failed. Nah, I replied, wiping a smear from Timmy's cheek, just winging it. Like everything else, but inside, warmth spread, belonging, hard-won and sweet. Lila dubbed it the throuple era, teasing over margaritas at our place. You, hot cop, and mini-me, domestic AF. We laughed, but truth lingered. This was redefinition. Love expanding to include sticky fingers and scheduled drop-offs. Conflicts arose. Claire's barbs about the new guy over email chains. Jack's guilt-fueled overnights. But we mediated with the grace of survivors. Summer hummed in with pride parades and rooftop BBQs, rainbow flags snapping in the breeze. We marched that year. Timmy perched on Jack's shoulders, waving a tiny flag with wide-eyed wonder. Daddies hold hands? He asked later, crayon pausing mid-stroke. Jack knelt, earnest. Yeah, buddy. And uncles, aunts, anyone who loves big. The kid nodded, filing it away, and I swallowed the lump in my throat. Seeds planted, futures unfurling. But beneath the joy, fissures snaked. Jack's cold cases pulled overtime, ghosts demanding attention. One file haunted. A missing queer teen from the village, echoes of my own youth. Can't let it go cold, he'd mutter, poring over maps till eyes bloodshot. I'd rub his shoulders, brew chamomile, but resentment brewed too, nights alone with takeout, wondering if the badge would always claim precedence. Peaked in July, heat wave turning the city into a pressure cooker. Timmy at camp, Claire out of town. I planned a surprise getaway, train tickets to the Berkshires hidden in my drawer. But Jack came home late, reeking of dive bar smoke. I ask you, where were you? I demanded, hurt sharpening my tone. He collapsed on the couch, head back. Informant meeting. Went south, had to chase a lead. Again, the word exploded, all the pent-up loneliness spilling. I'm here, planning us, while you're out playing hero. When does it stop? Jack, when do we get to be more than your side quest? He surged up, face stormy. Side quest? This job funds our life, Timmy's therapies, this apartment. You think I choose the hours? We hurled truths like grenades. My fear of abandonment rooted in Ohio scars, his drive to atone for undercover sins. I need you present, I yelled. Not a ghost in your own home, he countered, voice cracking. And I need to know this, us is enough. Without the hero worship. Storm raged. Doors slammed. I slept on the fire escape, stars mocking our mess. Dawn brought olive branches. Coffee on the stoop. Apologies mumbled over bagels. I booked the tickets, I confessed, sliding them across. His eyes softened. Berkshires? God. Paul. I'm sorry. Let's go recharge. We did. Trading city clamor for rolling hills. Hiking trails where birdsong drowned doubt. Evenings on a porch swing. His head in my lap. I read poetry, Whitman, fierce and free. This is us, I said, fingers in his hair. Pioneers. Oh, pioneers. Laughter healed. Intimacy reignited under quilted skies. Fall deepened bonds. Timmy's school play. Me as stage dad with a video camera. Jack beaming from the front row. Holidays blended. Thanksgiving at Claire's. Truce declared over turkey. Hanukkah lights in our window for Timmy's curiosity. But peace proved fragile. December delivered the blow. Jack's precinct holiday party. Black tie optional. Brass in attendance. I dressed sharp. Nerves jangling. These events spotlighted the plus one. Whispers about the cop with the boyfriend and kid. We arrived arm in arm. His hand steady on my back. Cocktails flowed. Toasts rang. But midway, a shadow detached from the crowd. Detective Reyes. Grizzled vet with a reputation for old-school values. Harlan. Jack greeted. Stiff. Reyes eyed me. Smirk curling. Brought the arm candy. Wife send her regards. Venom dripped. Jack tensed. Jaw set. Claire's good. Paul's family end of. But Reyes leaned in. Voice low. Family? Department's got standards. Kid. Watch your back. The slight landed. Poison seeping. Later, in a coat check alcove, Jack unraveled. Bastards like him, why I fight. But tonight felt like regression. I held him, fury simmering. Then we fight together. No hiding. We left early, hailing a cab through snow flurries, vowing resilience. Home. We made slow love by the tree, lights twinkling like affirmations. New Year dawned crisp. Resolutions whispered. More date nights. Less work bleed. Spring brought bloom. My design firm landed a big queer advocacy campaign. Billboards of diverse couples across the city. Jack surprised me with a wall-sized print in our living room. Us at Pride. Mid-laugh. My muses, he said, kissing my temple. Yet, undercurrents stirred. Timmy's therapies intensified, sensory issues flaring, and Claire's emails turned accusatory. Jack's distracted, It's affecting Tim. Blame circled, landing on me. You're pulling him thin, she wrote. Guilt gnawed. Was I the stretch too far? Climax brewed in May. Lilacs scenting the air like false promises. Jack's unit cracked a case, my Ohio assault. Perps ID'd after years. Arrests made headlines. Justice a quiet roar. We celebrated quietly. Steak dinner, red wine, Timmy at a sleepover. But elation soured when his phone buzzed mid-toast. Claire, frantic. Tim's meltdown at school. Needs you now. He bolted, leaving half-eaten plates. I cleaned up alone, tears salting the sink. Hours later, he returned, exhausted. Kids okay, overstimulated. But Claire. She said it's because I'm split focus. Silence stretched, heavy. And, I prompted, voice small. Nothing. She's wrong, but doubt echoed. The fight ignited days later. Timmy's birthday party looming. Cancel the bounce house, Claire demanded via group chat. Too chaotic. Jack pushed back. It's his day, let him have joy. I mediated from sidelines, but tension crackled. Party day. Chaos reigned. Kids shrieking. Cake smeared, but Timmy beamed. Unwrapping my gift, a sensory tent, with glee. After, cleanup devolved. Claire cornering me in the kitchen. You're good with him, Paul. But Jack's drowning. Pick up the slack or step back. Words stung. True in parts. That night, alone, Timmy crashed early. I unloaded on Jack. Am I helping or hindering? Be honest. He paced. Tormented. Helping always. But yeah, it's a lot. Sometimes I wonder if Tim needs stability more than this. The word gutted me. So what? I'm the variable? The one to cut. Hysteria rose. After everything, the lies, the growth, back to square one. No! He grabbed my arms. Desperate. I love you, fuck. Paul, you're my anchor. But fear. It's real. What if I can't give you both? Tears mingled. We clung. Storm breaking. Then we adapt, I gasped. Therapy for all family sessions. No sacrifices, just strategy. We did counselors, schedules reworked. Claire thawed, admitting her own stresses. Summer healed, beach days with Timmy building moats, Jack and I stealing kisses in dunes. Love, resilient, stretched but didn't snap. By fall, we'd woven tighter, joint custody apps, my name on school pickups. Betrayal's echo faded, replaced by harmony's hum. Humanistic truth. Family wasn't flawless, but fought for ours, unyieldingly. Autumn's palette deepened, ginkgo leaves carpeting the park like a golden shroud, as our patchwork family settled into a cadence that felt less like survival and more like symphony. Timmy's 7th birthday marked the shift, a low-key affair at the zoo, giraffes nibbling from his tiny hand, Jack snapping photos while I narrated animal facts with exaggerated flair. Claire even showed, neutral ground thawing to tentative smiles. You're good for him, she admitted over hot dogs, nodding at Jack. For all of us, progress, incremental but profound. My career surged too. The advocacy campaign evolved into a full-time role at the firm, heading creative for queer youth initiatives. Late nights brainstorming taglines, love unerased. But Jack countered with packed lunches, notes tucked in, proud of my artist. Balance teetered, but we caught each other, his hand on my lower back during pitches, my texts cheering case closes. Winter whispered in with the first snow, blanketing the city in hush. Holiday cards arrived. Lila's annual queer family portrait, us photoshopped in, absurdly festive. We hosted Christmas, tree strung with Timmy's ornaments, menorah candles flickering beside stockings. Jack carved the ham. I mashed potatoes. Claire dropped by with pie, X's orbiting in civil orbit. Timmy, eyes wide at the bounty, declared it best ever. In bed later, Jack's arm heavy across me, he murmured, "This is the dream I didn't know I had." But dreams fracture. January brought the chill. An envelope in Jack's mail. Innocuous cream but weighted with dread. IA inquiry. Anonymous tip alleging misconduct from his undercover days. Bullshit, he spat, crumpling it. Mark's ghost. Stirring from prison. Rhea's smirk from the party flashed. Old boys club closing ranks? Investigations dragged, interviews, polygraphs. Jack's name whispered in halls. He withdrew. Armor up. Dinner silent. Touches perfunctory. It's nothing, he'd insist, but tension coiled like a spring. I pushed. Let me in, we face it. Therapy helped unpack. His terror of losing the badge, the stability for Timmy. Felt invincible undercover. He confessed. But now, one lie, and it crumbles. I held space, but resentment simmered, our cocoon pierced by suspicion's blade. Lila vented with me over wine. Systems rigged against guys like him, out and proud. Fight dirty if you have to. Her fire ignited mine. I dug online, forums buzzing with similar tales. Allies emerged. A queer lawyer buddy from work, volunteering pro bono. Climax crested in March, winds howling off the river like banshees. The hearing, sterile conference room, brass glaring. Jack in suit crisp as resolve, me in the gallery, heart pounding. Accusations flew, compromised integrity, personal entanglements, code for his life with me. Reyes testified, oily, man's got distractions, kid, boyfriend. Cloud's judgment, Jack's rebuttal scorched, evidence logs, witness affidavits, unshakable calm. My life's an open book. Love doesn't compromise duty, it sharpens it. My lawyer ally cross-examined, dismantling Rhea's bias like dominoes. Verdict. Cleared. Vindicated. Outside. Rain sheeting. Jack crushed me in a hug. Couldn't without you. Catharsis flooded. Tears mixing with downpour. Renewal in the deluge. Spring unfurled triumphant. Promotion to lieutenant. Jack's name on plaques. We celebrated with a road trip, Key West at last. Timmy in tow, Claire's blessing. Co-parent win. Highway blurred to turquoise seas. Conch shells crunching underfoot. Days snorkeling reefs. Nights stargazing on decks. This, Jack said, toes entwined with mine in sand. Timmy asleep nearby. Is forever stuff. Back north. Harmony hummed. Summer festivals. My exhibit opening. Designs honoring survivors like Teen Me. Pride again. Bigger. Timmy marching with a sign. Love is love. Jack carrying him high. But undercurrents lapped. Claire dating someone new. Custody tweaks sparking jealousy flares. He's replacing us? Timmy wailed one drop off. Jack soothed. But I saw the crack, parental fears mirroring my own. Fall tested, school starting. Routines fracturing. Jack's hours spiked. New unit. High-profile cases. I traveled for work. A week in LA pitching. Return airport pickup. His kiss desperate. Missed you, house too quiet. But quiet hid storms. Unpacked suitcase revealed a note in his wallet. Claire's innocuous pickup reminder, but proximity to an old photo, him, pre-Timmy wedding ignited paranoia. Fight brewed over breakfast. Hiding mementos now? I accused, waving the pic. He flushed. Nostalgia, not longing. Jesus. Paul. Trust issues again. Escalation swift. My abandonment triggers clashing his defensiveness. Maybe if you weren't always half gone. And you're jetting off. Leaving me solo parenting. Doors slammed. I crashed at Lila's, scrolling memories till eyes burned. Reconciliation came halting. His text at 2 a.m. Park bench. Now, Washington Square. Leaves swirling. I kept the photo for Timmy, reminder of before. But you're mine now. Vulnerability cracked me, we wept. Rebuilding with words. No secrets. Even sentimental. Fall mended. Winter warmed by intention, date nights enforced. Claire's new guy vetted over coffee, ally. Not adversary. By New Year, we'd evolved. Family therapy yielding tools. Love's language refined. Timmy's 8th. Arcade bash. High scores and hugs. Jack's toast. To teams unbeatable. Pride swelled. Humanistic core. Growth through gale. Yet, by Kitsch loomed. Subtle. Spring's bloom hid thorns. My health scare. Routine check flagging anomalies. Biopsy scheduled. Benign, Doc said later, but fear's echo lingered. Jack's vigil, holding hands in sterile weights, mirrored his IA hell. Whatever comes, he vowed. We weather, strengthened. We pressed on, summer idols, fall harvests of heart. Climax redux, October gale, hurricane warnings blaring. Power out, city dark. Us huddled with Timmy, flashlights casting shadows. Stories spun, fears voiced. Dawn broke clear, bonds burnished. Betrayal's ghost exorcised, love's light enduring. Through seasons we chose daily, flawed, fierce, family. In America's vast tapestry, our thread, woven resilient, radiant. The hurricane's howl faded to memory as November draped the city in contemplative grays. Thanksgiving aromas wafting from brownstones like olive branches extended. Our table groaned under turkey and fixings. Claire and her partner Mike included. Toasts clinking to found family. Timmy, gap-toothed grin amid mashed potatoes. Declared pie magic. Jack caught my eye across the chaos. Wink promising later whispers. Gratitude anchored us, a bulwark against encroaching chills. December twinkled with rituals. Lighting the tree, Timmy's awe at ornaments spun from his handprints. My exhibit toured, posters of resilient faces adorning subways. Feedback flooding. Saw myself in this. Jack framed the review. Hung by our bed. My partner's saving worlds, he'd say. Pride puffing his chest. But quiet doubts nipped. His lieutenant load mounting. My travel spikes for the tour. Absence makes the heart wander. Lila joked over eggnog, but seed planted. Holidays peaked in quiet magic. New Year's at home. Ball drop on TV. Timmy conked out early. We slow danced in the living room, his chin on my shoulder. Resolutions, I murmured. More us, less everything else. Kiss sealed it. Confetti from a popper raining like blessings. Winter's core tested vows. January freeze. Jack's unit hit a snag. Corrupt brass exposed. Reyes implicated in the IA tip. Karma's a bitch, he quipped, but stress etched lines. Nights, He'd pace, phone glued. I'd pull him back to bed, body heat thawing tension. You're enough, I'd affirm, tracing tattoos like maps to peace. My biopsy echo resurfaced in February. Follow-up clear, but anxiety's tendril wrapped therapy. Fear's the real thief, counselor noted. Jack attended sessions, hand in mine. We're in this octagon together. Laughter lightened, his boxing metaphors turning dread to duet. Spring surged, cherry festivals and renewal fairs. Timmy's school play, him as tree in the giving tree, branches waving with earnest joy. Backstage, Jack teared up. Kid's a star, we hooped loudest. Ice cream after Sundays piled high, sticky bliss. But undercurrents swelled. Claire's engagement to Mike, wedding invites stirring Jack's melancholy. Not jealous. He confessed over beers at a dive. Just, what if we'd made it? Vulnerability raw. I listened. No fixing. You did make it to here. With us. Embrace lingered, healing old fissures. Summer sizzled. Coney Island escapes. Cyclone screams. Cotton candy haze. Timmy fearless on rides. Jack's arm around us both. Pride parade crescendo. Floats thumping bass. Our crew, Lila. Claire's fold, marching unified. Banner read families forward. Timmy's artwork splashed bold. Fall's harvest brought harvest of heart. My book deal. Designs compiled into visible threads. Queer lives illustrated. Launch party buzzing. Jack toasting. To Paul Weaver of Worlds. Sales soared. Tours beckoned. Go conquer, he urged. But eyes betrayed fear of drift. Climax crested in October's amber. My West Coast book tour. 2 weeks LA to Seattle. Departure loomed. Airport goodbyes tugged. Timmy's cling. Jack's kiss fierce. Call every night, he growled. Promise. First days dazzled. Signings packed. Panels electric. But hotel silences amplified absence. Texts from Jack. Timmy's soccer goal. Dinner disasters. Nights. Video calls. His face pixelated but warm. Miss your laugh, he'd say. Homesick hit hard. Mid-tour blues. Crisis peaked in Portland. Rain-lashed reading. Crowd thin. Post-event. Call from Jack, voice edged. Claire's ring. Timmy found it. Meltdown city. Thinks she's leaving us. Panic surged. I cut tour short. Red-eye home. Cab through dawn. Heart hammering. Apartment door. Chaos blocks scattered. Timmy hiccup sobbing on couch. Jack, hollow-eyed, explained. Misunderstanding. Claire's excited. Not fleeing. But kid spiraled. I scooped Timmy. Rocking. Auntie's staying. Rings mean happy forever. Calm descended. Story spun of magical jewels. Later, alone, Jack collapsed against me. Felt like failing, solo captain sinking. Teams here, I soothed. Always, intimacy reignited. Slow and sacred, reclaiming amid ruins. Resolution bloomed winterward. Tour wrapped triumph. Book bestseller lists teasing. We renegotiated. My remote pitches. Jack's flex hours. Claire's wedding. Us in pews. Timmy ring-bearer beaming. Vows echoed ours. Commitments quiet thunder. Spring's thaw. Timmy's therapy graduation. Big feelings tamed. Park picnic. Bubbles soaring. Jack proposed not knee, but dawn run. Marry me? Mess and all. Ring simple. Silver band etched, unexpected. Tears. Yes, ecstatic. Summer sealed. Small ceremony. Rooftop vows under stars. Lila officiating, quips flying, Claire toasting, Timmy scattering petals. Dance floor hours, slow sway, city humming approval. Fall's wisdom, love's not endpoint, but path twists, triumphs. Humanistic close, we, scarred sailors, docked in each other's harbor. Betrayal's lessons etched, emotions deepened, romance eternal. In America's mosaic, our story, vibrant, victorious, vast. Through trials, revelations raw, conflicts carved, we emerged woven tighter. Paul and Jack, +1 and growing, choosing dawn after every dusk. No fairy dust, just fierce fidelity. The end? Nah, our beginning, endless.